to. So I will go ahead and start. So yeah, so what do y'all want? Like, put in the chat. Do you want and do you want to do the roulette? We have Joy loves the idea of roulette. Do we want to do it for the little short nuggets we normally do, or do we want to go 20 minutes this time so that you can get to know each other a little bit better, instead of, you know, just by the time you go around the room and you ask the question or whatever, you know, normally by the time we get to the fourth or fifth person, then the room is closing in 60 seconds kind of thing. So, okay, Heather's suggesting a short one. We can work our way up. We can do a baby one. We can do this in baby steps. Is everybody good with that? You want me to go ahead and, I need to change my view here because I can't see the bottom of my screen for breakout rooms. We're going to let participants choose their room. How many people do we have on? 35. How many people we want in a room? About 5. So, all right, I'm going to choose 6 rooms, and I'm going to assign automatically. All right, you ready?
How long will we have?
It's not really letting me choose that at the moment. How long do you want? I'll set a timer. 5 minutes?
Yeah, let's start with 5. We'll get kicked off.
Okay.
Oh, 10. We hear 10. Why don't we do 8 then? Let's meet in the middle.
Okay, 8 minutes. I'll see you back here in 8 minutes. Are you guys going? Yep, looks like you're going. Gloria and Melissa, we've just gone out into random breakout rooms. Oh, you guys aren't going. 9 to room 4. Oh, hello, Melissa. You snuck in on Sorry, I grabbed the wine while everybody's in breakout rooms. I'm just going to randomly assign you, and we don't have a topic or anything like that tonight, so just go make friends.
All right.
Hi, Robbie. We're in breakout rooms. So I'm just going to randomly assign you. That's what we're doing. We're going to be in there for another 6.5 minutes. And we don't have a topic or anything like this time. It's just a virtual networking happy hour. So it's just go meet some people. So Katsuri, I'm going to put you in room 1. Robbie, room 6. Hi, Sachi. We are doing breakout rooms, just getting to know people tonight. We don't have a topic or anything like that. We sometimes do for our roulettes. So I'm just going to pick room 3 and assign you. Hello, welcome back.
that was fun.
Good. Did you get to see some people and get to chat with people you haven't seen in a while?
Yeah. For me, everybody is new. So it's all good. Thank you.
That's great. Did you guys have a theme that you talked about or anything, or?
Virtual networking, I think, was probably the theme for us. Yeah.
Are you pro, con, figuring it out, somewhere in between?
Personally, I'm figuring it out. I had done a little bit of it at the beginning of the pandemic, and I just said, not really for me. And then I just feel like I need to reconnect with people personally. So I'm making an effort. Yeah.
Yep, I'm kind of in that same boat. One, I'm not going to be going back to the office, so this is just a skill that I'm going to need now, right? I'm just, whether I want it or not, I need it.
Yeah.
So it's something I think that will help. I also work for a very large global organization, so doing things like that will be helpful. But yeah, it's definitely, I think, something that we're all working our way through. How about anybody else?
We missed the question.
What else did y'all enjoy about your breakout rooms?
We learned that one of the members of the breakout room that I was in is actually writing a book right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Well,
yeah. Do you have a published date yet?
It's coming out, to answer your question, no, but we're like right here at the finish line. So sometimes they say it's the last mile that takes the longest.
What's it about? Tell us
I just
more.
got mine back as the last preview. I got my first printed copy. It says not for sale. So I'm like, I'm right there with you, like ready to punch the go button and woo.
Well, congratulations. Writing a book is not trivial. Wow.
Yeah, congratulations to you both.
Yeah, so LaTanya, what's the topic of your book? Can you say?
I can. It's called Unconscious Bias Revealed, How to Identify and Undo Bias. Is that right? Wait a minute.
Great.
Something like that. It's
Something.
been a while since I looked at the title. I'm so concerned with the content.
We need to make sure that we write LaTanya's name down so we can have her be a speaker for us, because this sounds like a great topic for an event, right?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Oh, thank
Good
you.
idea.
I'll put my info in the chat, and it's on my website actually has the name correct, but I know the first part is Unconscious Bias Revealed.
That sounds great. And Debbie, what's your book about?
Mine is not that. It's complete other side of the brain. It's poetically seasoned, and it's a bunch of poems put into 4 different chapters and a short collection of the seasons.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Make sure you share that with AWT when it's
Thank
super
you.
close, right? We'll put it in the Applaud Her channel because you certainly earned it. And if you don't want to write for yourself, let me or Heather know and we'll put it in.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a big proponent of writing. I started out as a volunteer project with the American Bar Association, and that's turned into, I've now been an editor, co-editor on, or chapter contributor to 4 different books on video game law. So I'm a big fan of writing. I think I give that as career advice a lot. If you can find publications that'll take you, because there's always publications looking for people to write, and it shows you're paying attention. It shows you're watching your industry, and it's a great way to show that you're like articulate and care to take the time.
Do you all have any tips for how to get started writing? I've been wanting to start a
Pen
blog.
and paper. Put them
Debbie
together.
was old school.
Do it every day. You need to set up a time, and you need to do it every day, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, and if
Or
you're
just do it like me and write it for 10 years, and when it comes in, it comes in, and when it doesn't, it doesn't.
and if you don't have the resources if you're working on like a multi-author project, I would say find somebody who has a really good assistant to remind everybody and keep them on deadlines and stuff, because it can get overwhelming trying to get. And I get it. It's such a long process. Like our 2nd edition of one of the books took 5 years to get everybody up to speed and stuff. It was starting to think about the 3rd edition. I'm like, oh, So like, it's got to get done. But, you know, it's just like, oh God, that's so much work.
And if it's not tech related, where you've got to like, you know, be running to meet the deadline before all the technology changes again, I would suggest, you know, then there's that. But if you're in a position to like just dictate to yourself, you know, if you get an idea, you know, just put your phone out and just push the dictate button and just say it. And I have discovered that that is a faster way than trying to get it all out and typing, you know, trying to get every single detail. Yeah. And so as it like literally sometimes if I'm sleeping or just kind of resting, ideas will just pop into my head. And that has been very helpful, you know, even like titles of chapters or subsections, etc. So that's something that might be of value also, ladies.
Great advice. Look at all the great things we're learning.
That's pretty cool. Huh, the dictate piece. I like that. I like that.
I like that because you can do it when you're you know, when you're not in front of a computer or whatever too, right? We have our phone with it and things like that. So if you have an idea, waiting in line at the grocery store, you're probably gonna have your phone with you.
Yeah.
Okay, what about some of the other breakout rooms? Did you guys have good conversations as well?
You know, one thing that I put in the chat that we talked about was salary negotiation. Like I said, what are some of the topics that y'all want to talk about? Because you know, we have the rest of the year planned, but in January and further out, you know, we'll start, you know, putting some topics together. And this is something that, you know, sponsorship director, I can say to our sponsors, hey, they want to talk about, you know, salary negotiation and things like that. So, you know, if there's things like that topics that you want me to address with the sponsors, like if we have certain we're getting a lot of new sponsors in too. So, you know, put it in the chat.
I have a topic that I think would be interesting if there's breakout rooms, and Nina and Rachel on here work with me. And so I've sent them this, but I just read this book called The Likability Trap. And I don't know if anyone's read it, but it's essentially like most people, but especially women, struggle with how do I get respected to move up into leadership, but still be liked, and how to balance that, you know, how to be assertive. And everyone thinks, you know, aggressive is such like a negative word, but being liked while you're doing it and being authentic. So I think that would be a really cool topic if people had success stories about how to feel like they, you know, were able to still bulldoze their way through to the top and still be liked doing it.
It's a great topic.
I have a boss like that. She's awesome.
It's great.
That's the story of my life, being one of the few women in engineering in the hardware side of my career. Having them take me seriously and actually say I am good enough to be with them was quite an uphill battle, but I enjoyed every bit of it in hindsight.
Other topics you guys would like us? Yeah, these are great ideas for soliciting programming for 2022. We're about to have our board retreat, so this help us out. Other topics, I like the salary negotiation idea, the likability trap. That's a good idea. Excuse me.
Another one on improving speaking and communication.
And I was going to say something about that. I know when we sent out our AWT survey, some of the questions people were like, can we do a Toastmasters with AWT, right? And we were talking about how that's a big time commitment. And obviously there's Toastmasters organizations here in in Austin area, but we were also thinking too, that could be something that maybe a couple people are interested in. Make your own chat on Slack and come up with your own types of organizations too. So if you find like-minded people wanting different types of topics, you know, this is where we can go and create some smaller meetups through AWT with that. So that's a good one. Kim, you've done Toastmasters? Same, I've done it.
Great.
It is great.
I got prepped for a wedding. I was going to give a toast, so I went to Toastmasters. That was the kind of deadline I needed. So I actually went for 6 months. I just wanted to improve in general, and it has just helped in my life. So it was really great. Glad that I was picked to do the toast.
If you're looking for, I belong to 2 speaking organizations, National Speakers Association, which is more for professional speakers. And then I'm a member of another one, Public Speakers Association, which is more for people that want to speak for free. And you have opportunities to practice in front of people, and you have opportunities to connect with people, but more for speaking to get work as opposed to speaking for like keynotes and stuff like that. So both of them are great organizations if you're interested in speaking. But yeah, Toastmasters is the gold standard for, you know, really getting in front of people and talking. I was real active in T-Works Toastmasters up in Cedar Park, and that's a great one. But there's some, they're all over the place.
And they're all times. So if you're a breakfast person or a lunch person or after work person, they're all over town, and they're all the times that should fit your schedule.
And one of them is a comedy one on Thursday night. I think it's 7 o'clock. It's hysterical. I have kids, so I can't do it. If you like to laugh, that's a good one.
Is that like comedians come in and practice, or what is the comedy one?
It's Toastmasters, and it just, that one particularly just concentrates on comedy. It's over by the Arboretum.
Yeah, one topic that came up, I heard this week that I thought was interesting was they had a segment on 1A on public radio about the Paralympics, and they're starting this campaign called We the 15 about, you know, and they were saying that and they're really focusing on companies, and they're saying that a lot of companies, when they're doing their DEI initiatives, aren't thinking of disabled people. They're thinking of all kinds of affinity groups, but not always disabled people. And they're saying the importance of that. And there's a lot of cool stuff in tech that's going on with making things more accessible for the disabled. I think that could be really cool. I know Microsoft is doing a lot with Xbox and stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff we could, I'm sure, going on here in Austin that we could highlight.
Yeah, we had an event several years ago at Indeed, and we did tech talks, and they were maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we had a topic specifically on accessibility in tech. And it was more than just make sure that the colorblind, you know, carry it. It was like making sure the blind can see it, and making sure that people with traumatic brain injuries can navigate your site. It was pretty cool.
Another topic that I think might be interesting with this group is around asking good questions, or maybe it's more importantly, what good questions should I ask? Because so many women are hesitant to bring up topics with their superiors in the workplace because they don't know how to frame the question and the topic so that it doesn't come across as aggressive, assertive, too aggressive or too assertive, or just too demanding. And I think, you know, there's a lot of ways to ask good questions for different scenarios, and we could really do a workshop maybe on that.
Yeah, I think another thing that I miss about some of the formats we used to have are kind of a fireside chat with leaders, you know, women who have had some success, and what path did they take? And I think we had some successful conversations with women in leadership positions in the past. A lot of people don't get a chance to just directly ask, you know, how did you get there? What did you do? What were your challenges? And I think I always appreciate those.
A great one as well. Other ideas?
Well, doing a pitch for mine, I give one called "Getting Out of the Pit of Overwhelm" and moving on to prosperity in life and business. So about mindset, about how to intentionally change your mindset to the positive and interact with others, and really prosper in your life and business.
Sure, that's something after the last 18 months, a lot of us have been struggling with.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done this topic here, but one that's really taking on some legs in corporate world right now is maker versus manager time. There's a lot of focus on how do we reduce context switching that has to happen constantly, you know, constant interruptions, and the difference between, you know, what works for managers in terms of meeting after meeting after meeting, and what works for makers who really need some dedicated time, and how we're doing a disservice to the makers by constantly interrupting them with meetings, and how are different organizations, I'd be curious how, you know, some corporations are facing that challenge. And I think we saw a lot a lot more interruptions, honestly, with the move to COVID, because now you're virtual, you're getting, people are slamming you on Teams and email, and you're constantly distracted. So I think it'd be interesting. I don't know if it's specific to women, but it's definitely tech. It's a tech topic for current state.
I like the idea of something like that. I as a PM, I spent some time at a job trying to honor that. It's hard. It's really hard because there are people who think they need to be involved in the meeting, and I hate to frame it like that, but that's all I can think of at this point. But people who really think they need to be involved, but then you got to work around their schedule. And then that's, that 2 to 3 in the afternoon when really the makers could be doing work as part of a, space from 1 to 4. And it's a hard thing to manage around. So I do think that would be interesting.
Yeah, and I'd also like to, it's a conversation about like boundary setting and how to like have good conversations with your bosses, and not, I feel like we as women like feel like we're asking too much of just like where we, like what we need. And so like, how can you professionally set boundaries and communicate those people who might be asking too much or asking things that won't benefit you?
It's a great topic. I have an engineering manager that needs to listen to that topic right there.
Or as we say, the art of saying no.
The art of saying no, yeah. It's tough. For me, that's when I have to practice. No one else is asking me to do it. It's my own boundaries that I have trouble setting. I need to hold myself accountable to my own boundaries.
I learned a lot.
Do we want to? Oh, sorry. Go, Dan.
I learned a long time ago about the slow no, like when I had to tell a customer, no, that wasn't possible, or no, we didn't want to do that or couldn't do that, But I recently learned about the slow yes. And it means don't say yes to everything that you're asked of. See if it aligns, and take a couple days and decide if you're going to do it.
And the other one is the yes if.
Yeah. And there is one more, not yet. So instead of saying no, we can say not yet. Maybe we need to get this prioritized, or kind of like, or we can come up with the alternatives like, it's similar to what you said, Beverly. Yes, if, with alternatives, kind of.
And like Diane gave a talk a few months ago about negotiating things, and how sometimes you need to not say, well, you have option A and B. You have to think about things and say, is there an option C? And then propose option C and negotiate it. It doesn't always have to be a binary choice about things.
Well, I have a fun little announcement that we're also doing. So we're doing a raffle today. And I think we mentioned this in the email, but we were supposed to be at Holdout Brewery today, right? And so we're so bummed we're not there. If you haven't been, encourage you to get out there safely. They have an awesome patio, dog and kid friendly, awesome food and drinks. So we're definitely going to get there in person again. They're connected to Better Half Coffee, which if you've been an AWT member for a while, you ironically know that that was our last in-person event of February 2020. So full circle there. So we have 3 gift cards that we're giving away tonight for $50. And I actually just did the random drawing, and I'm excited about this person because I know her. Lauren Gregory, you are our winner. And I saw you just joined us. So I wanted to introduce Lauren. This is her first AWT event as well. She also is new to Austin, looking for a job. So I know this is exciting for you to get out there, Lauren, but you are the first winner. If you want to unmute and say a few words.
Awesome. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm working on a very old computer, so I just had to double check. Thank you guys. That's a wonderful welcome. I'm really excited to be a part of a really strong group of women here, and I'm just really looking forward to this. So thank y'all for letting me be here.
And I know, I was gonna say, Lauren's looking for junior data analytics roles. So if you are hiring for any of those, please let us know and we'll get them posted as well, but just plug in for her over here.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Lauren, go out and buy a ticket, lotto ticket. I mean, to join and then get a lottery at the same time, a raffle, that's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, I may have to do that.
Congratulations. Okay, do we want to do another breakout room? Like, do we want to do randoms? Do we want to do specific topics? What are y'all thinking?
I think our room would have benefited from a specific topic.
Yeah, I was going to say specific topic breakout room. I think that would be great.
And how long do we want to do, just in case people need to leave a certain time so that people know how long they have? Do we want to do?
I'd say 15 minutes. 15 I have to leave. I have a hard stop at 7.
So I figured some people would. Yeah.
What do we want room 1 to be?
Entrepreneurship or switching careers. That's my topic.
Doing switching careers because I can spell that one. I never spell entrepreneur correctly ever.
You know, I like this idea because we were talking about a couple of topics that keep coming up is this idea of post-COVID and switching career. People are switching careers or trying to negotiate better working conditions. Could we maybe put those together? Like if you've negotiated a good working condition or you've negotiated something as you're switching careers or something like that? Or is that things?
I'll call it just switching careers, and the people who are interested in that topic can join room 2.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to do more people want to learn about writing? That was a good topic. We had lots of conversation on that. Do we want to go more about writing? I see one head. So Stacey's trying to say something.
I'm confused. We should just all split up into rooms and talk about switching careers. Is that...
We're creating different breakout rooms. And
I
we're
see.
Gonna have a specific topic
Okay.
for each breakout room instead of just doing the random this time.
I see. Okay. I'm good with that.
So
are you taking a poll, Emmy, about what room?
Can I create a poll on the fly?
Oh.
No, I cannot. Oh, maybe I can. There's a create button. I don't know that I can do open-ended ones.
Well, you could just share a WordPad or something. Go old school.
I know, but I don't want that to end up taking longer than we even spend in our breakout.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just renaming the existing breakout rooms. And now I lost my meeting. So I'm just renaming the existing breakout rooms. If you guys just give me topics, I'll just rename them and you guys can choose what you want.
One was asking the right questions, like, up or across or in general.
Okay, room 3. I'm going to pick writing. Room 4. What do y'all think?
What about just like what to do in Austin for newbies in Austin? Favorite things of Austin can be like the
what to do in Austin.
Casual breakout.
Room 5.
I think it's also, if you want to add to the casual, it's National Dog Day. So if we want to throw that in there too.
Mine was barking right when you said that.
Yeah. Mine just walked in the room. I was like, oh yeah.
Well, that's one of my favorite things, and I wish I could take credit for it, but that is one of the best things one of the guys at work has done for our morale in the office is he created a channel in Teams. And the only rule of the pets channel is you have to share pictures of your pet and often. And the only thing we talk about is our pets. And it is such a nice.
Oh, I need that.
You know, some of my colleagues have like zoos. I mean, they have reptiles. I mean, but the only rule is we just talk about our pets, and it is so nice. And I've gotten to know some of my coworkers better, and it's just we all need a break. So I highly advise that. It's great. Reminds me I need to nominate the guy that set it up for something. He needs the kudos.
Okay, change from dogs to pets so that you can talk about whatever critter you have. I have a coworker who has mice and she loves them. So
yeah, well, he tried to do because the reptile people were always posting pictures of bugs, and some of us don't like seeing bugs, including me. We tried to do like sub channels and nobody uses them, so we're just dealing.
You just deal with your bugs. Yeah, Jeannie might not like to see the mice being fed to other critters, but we have one more topic.
Wait, was that pets was room 5?
Yep. And then I can just do a
I
random.
think that might be it because I think that's enough maybe.
Well, we had 6 rooms, so I just made the last one random.
So I thought we had,
How do we
let's
get
do
into these
Austin.
rooms?
So I had switching careers, writing, asking the right questions, what to do in Austin, pets.
Pets and then
and
random.
And then random. Okay.
All right,
Got it.
Emmy, let's see if this works technology wise.
Okay, I don't know. Everybody is still in their old rooms. Option.
You might have to leave and go join the room you want.
I think you can just recreate.
I needed to check the box to allow participants to choose a room. So if you go to a room that you don't want to talk about, you can leave that room and it'll pull up a little box that has the different rooms on there and you can pick the topic that you want. And if you don't like it, whatever, you can always go back to the main room and I'll put you in whatever room you choose. How long are we choosing? This time it's letting me choose a time.
Let's do 10 minutes.
Minutes. Okay, here we go. All right, it says it's going. So Lauren, would you like me to assign you a room? It says you haven't joined a room.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm not sure where to find that information.
You want careers, questions, writing, Austin, pets, or random?
Let's do room 1.
Careers, got it. Michelle Vickers, you are also not in a room. Do you have a preference?
Room 1, switching careers.
Got it. Okay, did everybody get the option to be able to choose their rooms? If you go to breakout rooms, there should be an option.
I don't.
No.
Where does that? If you click,
at the bottom of your screen, there should be a little 4x4 grid. Breakout rooms. Go
thank
there.
you.
How do you actually click on it though? I clicked on it, my name isn't showing up. How do I know?
Now I can do it. Okay. Thanks.
It should give you the different breakout rooms you can join.
Right. And then how do I actually join it?
And then you should have the list of rooms.
Right. I am at switch carriers, but how do I join it? I see all of them, but I don't know how to join them. I'm clicking on it. It's not going.
There's a tiny join in blue font besides the topic.
I'm going to move you.
It is showing the number and I had to hover over it. Okay.
Switch careers. Okay. Amanda, did you get where you were trying to go? Yeah.
No one's in writing. I'm looking at, I was going to go into writing, but nobody's in there.
It doesn't look like anybody's in pets or random either. But you're relatively new to Austin, and the what to do in Austin is
yeah, maybe I'll do that one. Okay. I'll see ya in a sec.
I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, just gonna hop into a different group.
Okay, you know how to do that?
Yep.
Awesome. Nope, I was talking to a AWT person. How was the walk? Did it not work? Did it not go as planned?
Oh, it did. Just gonna hop into a different one. But I'm being indecisive.
Nobody is in writing, pets, or random. So if you go there, you're gonna be alone.
I'm gonna try what to do in Austin.
There you go. Have a great time. All right, Dana. Hi, Mandy. Do you need help picking another room?
No, I've had internet issues, so I just got bounced out, but I'll jump in now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. I think I'm going to have to drop, but it's been great, Emily. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you. You have a good night. Be safe. Come join us next Monday
All right.
again.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right. How many folks are back? Most everybody back?
We got another raffle to do when everyone's back. So
I was gonna say we got another raffle, and while you're doing your download or picking or whatever, why don't
I got it.
Oh, you're ready? You want to do the raffle before and after? Who's looking, who's hiring?
Let's do it before. We'll warm it up while people are coming back. So
all right.
Got a drum roll. And actually I found a cute little like Wheel of Fortune little thing to pull the name. So our winner for the second gift card of $50 to Hold Out Brewery is Melissa. Arksaw. Oh my gosh, I always butcher your name. Oh, sorry. But congrats, girl.
Thank you. That's great. That's really sweet. I appreciate it.
Have you been there before?
No. I've heard of it, but I've not been there.
Yeah, so it's off of Lamar and 4th, I think. It's right by the original Whole Foods in the West Dome and that part of Austin. So congrats.
Awesome. Any excuse to get out of the house these days is great.
And I hear the food is amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And we were in the What to Do in Austin one. So I think Joy is posting some of her lists. So if you wanted to be in that one as well, download them from the chat.
All right. So I know a lot of it's just now about 7 o'clock, and I know a lot of people are having to drop. So if we want to do a who's looking, who's hiring, please use the chat, because we will download the chat and Michelle will help us get a recap email out. But if you want to unmute, and if you're hiring, tell us what you're looking for. If you're looking for a job, tell us what you're looking for. Put it in the chat again so that we can make sure that those are all captured.
Do we also want to put everyone's LinkedIn profile? If y'all want to put your LinkedIn profiles
Sure.
well.
So who wants to go first? Who's hiring?
We know
Y'all
Diane.
don't pick, I'm going to put Heather on the spot.
I know, I was gonna say, Diane, girl, we know you're hiring.
I was typing. So Charles Schwab is always hiring. I want to say we probably have about 120 open positions in Austin. We hire almost every discipline. I'm happy to talk to anybody that's interested, no matter what the role. I work in the project management office, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to have we're going to have full-time positions posted for senior project managers and for project coordinators. So if interested, reach out.
Awesome. Who else?
You can interview before they're posted, because I told you.
Yeah,
Always good to have the inside track.
I'll point out for Schwab, a lot of the positions are location flexible. That did not ever used to be the case. So I would say if a location is posted in a position, don't let that be the barrier to applying. I don't know about Diane's specific role, but technology, that's definitely been true lately.
Well, my roles will be posted in Austin, but we'll have the same ones in Dallas and Denver.
And then Debbie, you had your hand up. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Long day. We have a program and proposal support coordinator that is part of our career board or job board on the Insperity site. I'm going to put the link in the chat.
And she's also put several links to the Insperity blog that look like they have great topics too. So check those out in the chat. Okay, who's next?
I can speak. So I work at FDM Group. We're hiring specially for juniors. So if you're looking for business analysts, project managers, specialized types of developers, It is a program that is going to be for 3 months, paid training up front, and then you're going to be placed with the client. So it's kind of contractor, kind of a boot camp. It's a mix. So if you're looking at for a junior role, then look at FDM Group.
Wait, Lauren, you just put your stuff in there, but we need to connect y'all.
Lauren, we're connecting Lauren with who? With Meredith?
Yeah, Lauren, we need to get you to Meredith. Will you put your email in here, didn't you?
Yes. I'm also looking for a role specifically that's not at my company, just because it's the role I love. So FGM Group's awesome, but I'm looking for a specific customer success role. So my email's in there as well. However, that's my profile. I'll put my email there. Sorry.
And her name on her thing says FDM Group, but that's Meredith McConnell.
Awesome, thank you.
Who else is hiring?
I'm not hiring, but I found out the coolest thing that I thought I would share. They have videos now on LinkedIn on your picture. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but you go to the picture. I mean, you go to the thing there, and a little video clip comes up on top of your picture. And when you click on it, there's a 30-second video that you can make, and it's really easy and it's really cool. So check that out.
Good LinkedIn tip.
Yeah, if you go to my LinkedIn that I just put in, you can see it. It just kind of pops up, and you click on it, and you can actually videotape yourself and save it. And then if you want to redo it, you just put replace and you do it again. And until you actually confirm the replacement, it will stay there and you can work on it.
And you can just do the video from your phone. You don't need any special equipment or anything.
Yeah, you do the video from your phone.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. Who's looking?
Oh, well, we're hiring at my company. So sorry. So I work for a video game company called Wargaming. So we have a couple of positions open. I'm excited because I actually have some positions to share. I usually don't always, but we have a couple of positions open on our data and analytics services team. And then we have a community manager position open, associate product marketing manager, and a regional partnerships manager position for our World of Warships team. So if you're interested, I shared my LinkedIn. So
awesome. And I love your Mario shirt, by the way. Thank
you. I have such a log of fun outfits. I've been hitting the sales really well during the pandemic. So good for networking. You know.
Okay. Anybody else hiring? Okay, who's looking? Just Lauren. Hey. Lauren's the only person looking. Who else?
Oh, Amanda from looking.
Amanda, yeah.
Hey, so I've been with Visa for 5 years. I love Visa, but unfortunately I moved, and so I need something remote, preferably in HR, but my specialty is benefits. And yeah, and I'm a new AWT member, so it's great to be here.
Ooh, we might need to connect you with Sana, one of our sponsors. Yeah. They're often hiring, and they specialize in benefits.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. Put your information, Amanda, because again, we're going to pull this chat directly from Zoom, and then we're going to type it in a pretty email that we're going to send out to everyone. So it's easiest. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks.
I see Carrie has her hand up.
I'm always looking for referrals for people who are passionate people that are struggling with direction and looking for support in choosing the best trajectory for fulfillment and success.
And you put that in the chat?
I can put that in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
Okay. I am looking for an entry-level position as a user experience researcher. So I've just graduated from UT, the information school, and I've been looking for a job since then. So I have put my LinkedIn several times in the chat. So. Thanks.
Awesome.
I know I didn't hop in on the looking, but I pasted it, and I think I've now seen 2 folks looking for UX. Feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn. I'm an engineer, but I work with UX, and I know that we're hiring for a few different positions. So I'll paste that in there again. But yeah, feel free to check it out and friend me on LinkedIn, and we can chat.
Thanks, Kim.
Great. Okay, I see that we've hit the top of the hour. Our participation is dwindling. I can bring up slides again. We do have a September event. It is being sponsored by Insperity. Before people drop too much, I'm going to go ahead and reshare. And so you can see.
We got one more raffle and it's stay here to win. So
that's right. That must be present to win. Let me pull that up on the right so that I'm ready. Where did my slides go?
Well, if enough people drop, we'll have one breakout room.
Okay,
I think we're done with the breakouts. Yeah, I think we're just staying in here.
Yeah, I can't find my slides. I don't know what I do with my slides, but it is September 28th. And it is on the role of entrepreneurship. Insperity is the sponsor. They're going to be giving us 10 useful tips on how to be an entrepreneur. And this is the speaker, Pete Hinojosa, is also
Hinojosa.
I'm sorry, I completely stumbled over his name. And he started a side job while being a full-time employee. So this is not just for the people who want to say, chuck it and go it alone. So if you're ever considering being an entrepreneur, come listen to Pete talk next month. I think you'll really get a lot out of it. Anything else you want to add there, Debbie?
Yeah, the only thing I would love to add is his tips and techniques are exactly what I use in my everyday business performance advisor role as well. So I think there's a lot of transferable skills.
So a lot of value next month in September. Our October event will be InnoTech. InnoTech currently, given the state of things, is still planning to be hosted live in person at the Austin Convention Center on October the 13th. Both events should be live on our website for you to go register for. So go check out our website if you're interested in attending either one. The discount code to get into InnoTech using the AWT registration is on that page. So go get the discount we're going to give you if you're interested. Heather, what am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something. We haven't.
They want to know what the date is again for
Insperity?
Insperity.
September 28th.
Yeah.
5:30 to 7:30.
Okay, thanks.
Could you run real quickly over the benefits of joining?
Turn that one over to Heather. She's got this spiel down.
Yes, I will take that. Absolutely. So again, this event tonight was free. Most of them are not normally free unless you are an AWT member. So it is access for free to our AWT events, or I guess you're essentially paying up front to come to the events. So if you attend 6 events a year, you already pay for your membership right there. So it's $60 a year, as well as access to the Slack channel. And again, we have on there who's hiring, who's looking, which is always going. There is probably 4 or 5 jobs posted every single day, or people posting every single day about looking for jobs, and it's real time, right? To message them right then and there. There's mentorship opportunities. There's other community involvement. There's philanthropy engagements. There's random, where sometimes people even say, hey, I'm meeting up at Via 313 Pizza. Who wants to grab a beer type of thing. So it's definitely just immediate on the response. Friendships, trying to think what the other, like I said, advice, like books and TED Talks, people post chats on there, and really just a way to engage and connect with each other in the community. And we also do have members only specific events as well. So we have a couple of those throughout the year, and we're doing more and more engagement with philanthropy. So we've added some new roles on the AWT board as well to try to get more involvement with other parts of the other organizations here in Austin that members will get to have access to. So it's really, again, a furthering of the community and making it a little bit more accountable for you to come and attend and get involved, because that's what we always see, right? You get out of something what you put into it. So it's really accountability in that aspect too.
And Heather, while you were speaking, somebody asked how to get on Slack if they're a member and they don't have Slack. What do they need to do?
Yes. If you are a member, again, you can get on Slack. I will message you right now with the Slack link, and I'll send you directly on how to get on there.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was me. Thank you.
The Slack channel is really great. Like, I know on the random channel, I came across like 50 great sci-fi books last week. And I was just like, oh, this seems like a good thing to put in the random channel. because I mean, I know I read a lot of sci-fi or listen to a lot of sci-fi. So, okay, Heather, are we ready to do our third drawing, or do we want to have more chats?
No, and the person is here, so I'm excited. All right, are we ready? Amy Simpson, you are going to Holdout Brewery. Bow, bow, bow. Get excited. And I'm actually doing an e-gift card, so you will have it in your inbox in the next like 5 minutes. So get excited.
Wow, I've never won anything. This is very exciting. Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations.
I feel super lucky. Maybe I'll get a job tomorrow.
Well, hopefully you may
tell us what you're looking for. Elaborate. This is your platform. Maybe this is the love.
I am looking for a user experience research position. And one of the things that's going on right now in the user experience field is there are 1 million senior level positions, and then there's some mid-level positions, but there are no entry-level positions. I don't know why. My bachelor's degree is in English, and it feels statistically out of balance somehow that there should be so many senior level positions, but that seems to be the case. And so it's really, really hard to get a foot in the door or get get anywhere. So that is the little battle all of the UXers are fighting. So I have been doing some volunteer work and things like that. And, trying to keep the old portfolio updated and just pursuing all lines of inquiry. So
are you doing freelance work in the meantime?
I have not gotten any freelance work, but I am consulting.
Okay.
So yeah, very cool. Thanks so much, you guys. I appreciate it. I've been a member of AWT for 2.5 years, I believe. And I joined when I was in grad school, and it's been really great. The first event I went to, they had headshots, and I didn't want to, they were free. They're like a real professional photographer with lights and screens and the whole 9 yards. I have used that headshot like for everything. I had no idea how much I needed that. I had
that was members only perk. Exactly. So that's a great point. There's little things like that. So
yeah, sure. So it was really, really beneficial, and I never would have thought of it, and if you guys hadn't provided that, So anyway, I think that AWT offers a lot of great perks like that and good support. So
yeah, that was our last live in-person event.
Yeah.
At Better Half, the sister of Holdout Brewing. And that was our Galentine's event. Who knew that it was going to be our last in-person event? At that point in time, nobody. But I too have used that headshot everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say that your next in-person event, if you're a member and you haven't gotten your shirt yet, so this is our fun, cute shirt for the members. You can get your shirt as well. So we were going to try to figure out a way to even just do pickups, but you also get a shirt as a member too. So
we were hoping to be able to give you those tonight because right now they're just taking up room in my closet. But we used to, for people who signed up at events, we would give those out. So if you joined recently or whatever, and you don't have a t-shirt, you really want one, email me at president@AWT Austin and we'll get you one.
Can I do a quick shout out? First of all, I need a shirt, but also
you need 2 shirts, don't you? Don't you need a Boss Lady shirt? I sent you your Boss Lady shirt, didn't I?
No.
Okay, you need 2 shirts.
See, you get 2 shirts if you Boss Lady too. Diane Kenyon and I and Leslie Wingo are doing South by Southwest, and we need your vote. I put it in the link. But this is all about, we were talking about the salary negotiation, our conference application, we need votes. And so it's all about preparing and empowering women for the ask. So asking for what you want, what you need, especially, like post-COVID, we're all looking for better working conditions. We want to work remotely. If we're like, wait a minute, I think I should be paying more for the stuff I've been doing. This is the session for you. So we need votes though. So I put the link in the chat. So that's the other perk of AWT is that you meet people and then you get to do South by Southwest things with them. And then you get to meet them for wine at Crew and talk about it.
Have you also put that in Slack?
No, yes, Diane did, but she put it on, you put it on random, and then we could put it probably someplace, or you put
What did we applaud her?
So Joy, just as a reminder, you, as an advisory board member from South by Southwest, you're not doing your—
No, I know, that's right, you're right. LaTanya told me this earlier. We're not already doing it. We are trying to get votes to do it.
Yes,
I keep saying that
as an advisory board member for South by, I cannot allow that to go by. I'm sorry, I had to put you on blast.
I know, I don't know why I keep saying that. I think it's because I've never done anything like this where I've had to get votes for it. So sorry, my language is wrong. We are hoping to do this, but if you vote for us and we get it,
and you need our help, and we need to not only go vote ourselves, but we need to tell all of our friends at our networks.
Yes.
Okay. So then we need to post the link on our LinkedIn channels so that we can double our other networks, right? So
I posted it to the AWT group on LinkedIn, so you could just share it from there back to your page.
Awesome. What else we got?
I'd like to thank Joy for inviting me here this evening. So thank you. It's been very wonderful. I have a tech background myself. I'm a low temperature physicist, as well as a satellite engineer. I've worked at NASA. I've worked in the aerospace industry. And now I'm doing all kinds of cool things with people that can talk back to me. So it's been really wonderful being with a group of ladies who are excited about tech and advancing the cause of women. So thank you so much, Joy.
You are very welcome. I'm glad you could come.
And we found a new speaker. That's great. Anybody else got anything exciting? Joy, I see you talking, but I don't hear you.
That's because I'm talking to myself. Somebody's asking about the AWT LinkedIn, so I was going to look.
I was going to track that down real quick while other people were talking.
Yeah, I'm new. This is actually my first event. I was trying to, I think last time you had a talk and I couldn't make it. So I'm like, oh, I need to make this one event. So I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. And you're looking for UX too, you said, right?
Yeah, right now I'm contracting as a UX designer, but it's like for 3-4 months. So I'm trying to keep the wheel juicing so that way if I, get to that point, I don't like panic or something. So yeah. But my background is in design, and so background in graphic web design, and so I've been doing UX since last year, and it's been really interesting meeting lots of different people and working with them.
Awesome. And again, put these in the chat. We'll pull that. But anything else?
Anybody else do anything cool or fun this summer? Like we have a couple of board members who have actually like brave enough to travel. Joy, you went to Italy. That's way more exciting than anything I've done this summer.
Yeah, I went truffle hunting and in Chianti. It was fantastic. And then I tried to move in to the winery.
Were there any restrictions when you went there? I'm actually going to be going 2 weeks, but I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So while I was there, it's the first 2 weeks of August, you have to have if you're a EU citizen, you have to have a Euro pass. But the CDC vaccine card works. You have to show the 2 doses. Not everybody understands what that is though. And like, it was new in Italy when I was there. While I was there, they were implementing it. So, but if you want to go to museums, if you want to do anything like that, you had to have that card. And I just take the physical card with me. I didn't even mess with like And then most of Europeans, people in the EU have a QR code, but we don't have that. So you kind of have to.
I have the French one, but not the Italian one. So did you, okay, maybe the Italians, maybe I could find the QR Italian one.
Oh, if you have the French one, you should be able to use that.
It's across all of them?
Yeah, because it's called the Euro Pass. And it's QR code for anybody that's within the EU that can use it.
Interesting.
What is the most fabulous thing you ate?
Oh, well, I came back and got my blood work done. My cholesterol was sky high. So probably the truffle pasta. I took a pasta making class. So probably the truffle pasta. And yeah, I mean, just going to this one winery, if y'all want my itinerary for what I did, because I write everything down. Like I write everything down. So you want my itinerary, but yeah, the truffle pasta we made our own pasta, and then the Chianti wine, and when we took the actual fresh truffles and we were shaving it onto our pasta, that was pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for asking.
You went to Italy. Who doesn't think about food when you go to Italy? Anybody else do anything even remotely that exciting? I mean, that's a pretty high bar, but.
Well, yeah, I lucked out timing wise. I don't know. I couldn't have done this if I tried, but I just lucked out. My so I'm totally honest about it. I'm part of the Peloton cult. So I'm actually the local owners group. Some women and I, we did a gals trip to Round Top, Texas, which is super cute, not that far from Austin.
Super cute.
Antique town, and we stayed at Junk Gypsy has this Wander Inn, so we rented a house. It was gorgeous. Like it was just wonderful. They've got longhorns and like fairy trees in the evening. You can just, it's just so quiet. I haven't slept that well in probably since COVID. It's just amazing. And then my mom and I lucked out and went to New York for a wedding, and it was totally different than here. That I felt so safe. Everybody had masks on, and most places, like the restaurants, had posted like all our staff are vaccinated. It was so nice, and then everything shut back down again. So it's like, well, or I've just hunkered down again. So, but it was just it was so nice to get away. You know, but highly recommend Round Top if you need like a driving trip. It was super cute.
And go to Royers and have some chocolate pie.
Yes, or the Texas trash pie, which we got one of those.
What is Texas trash pie?
So it's like chocolate and caramel and pretzels and all kinds of goodness.
Pecans.
Yeah, and pecans in a pie. Just, okay. Oh my God. And there's a cute little Mexican place too. I mean, literally it's like population 90. It's tiny, very walkable, a lot of outdoor stuff, super cute. So,
okay. I went to, my husband and I went to Alaska to visit Uncle George, and we did a lot of fishing, imagine that, and whale watching, which was spectacular. Saw eagles. He has an eagle that has a nest like 50 feet from his house. And we brought home 100 pounds of halibut, salmon, and rockfish.
Wow. Hopefully you have a big freezer.
Well, yeah, I cleaned out everything else. I was like, everything has to go.
So Debbie, you're having us over for fish when?
Sure. Yeah, we have plenty of rockfish to fry. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. I forget how amazing fresh fish is, especially if you caught it from the ocean. Oh, however, my introduction to Alaska was, hate to wake you up, but there's a tsunami warning evacuation, and you have to get your clothes on, and we have to get in the car, and we have to go up the mountain. And I was like, I'm tired and I'm sleeping. I was like, oh, I can see the ocean from the back porch. I guess I should get my clothes on, get in the car, and go up the mountain. So I did.
Was the rest of the town okay?
Yeah, so it was the little 20 centimeter wave hit up north in Murano. So it could have got your shorts wet, but I didn't want to mess with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No, that's like when my parents and I went to Sicily, and we did this trip, and they had amazing lectures in the evening. And so the night before, when we were staying by Mount Etna, they brought in this volcanologist, and the guy was just incredible and did this great presentation. We were like, oh my God, it'd be so cool if the volcano went off. And then we're like, no, actually not, because we're staying right here. Tell us. So, glad it worked out.
Anybody else? Anything fun?
And again, for the newbies, obviously this is just networking, right? Again, these are things you would normally have on the normal conversations. We normally have speakers and things like that. So again, if you're like wondering, oh, do we just sit and talk about Italy? That's not normally the case. This is just the fun networking.
And actually, we did this because, as Heather mentioned earlier, we did a survey, and one of the pieces of feedback we got was, we want more just networking, which we used to do a lot in person, and not every, especially during the summer. We would never do heavy programming in the summer because nobody wants to just get in their car, sit, drive somewhere, just be all melted when you show up someplace and then have to sit and pay attention. So we would just do like happy hours at breweries and things like what we were very much intending to do tonight. That was pretty much what we did for July and August at least, and sometimes June, just depending on the year. So tonight is to replicate that. And again, we wanted to do it in person, and then the Delta variant just really made it so that we didn't feel that we could do that safely, and that we could let some of our more vulnerable members really attend and feel comfortable. And we didn't want to exclude people. But normally our programs, as Heather said, are very content driven. As I think came up earlier, we've done fireside chats. Last month we did using allyship to like grow your network. We normally do a lot of things. Last year with FDM Group, we did a hackathon, which I'm hoping we can do again, because again, we're getting feedback people want to do things more technical.
I'm down for hosting.
So anything else fun? I adopted a dog a couple of weeks ago. Let me go pick her up.
Pictures. Oh, you have them there?
Oh, yeah, she's right.
Okay.
She's there, behind you.
So the hackathons that you have done, I've only done one hackathon, and it so happened that it was in Europe, or actually Germany. So I'm like the only one from the US, and another guy from Canada, and then two other person was from Germany. So that was interesting. But I want to do, I guess, more just for the fun of it, just to meet people and learn some stuff.
So the hackathon that you did you actually do programming, or did you just do high level thought and design?
Design. The one that I did was called conversation, like conversation design for Alexa. So the two other people were from Germany, and one was a front end person, and then another person was a back end person, and the project or the challenge was for a financial company, and they wanted us to design the kind of like the conversation design for kind of like almost like customer service, like where like if someone wants to book like an appointment with a financial advisor or something. So you kind of go through that kind of like process, where do I find like the nearest financial office, or is who available, for an appointment, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like a step process to go through the conversation.
Were you doing it through a chatbot kind of thing, or were you building it from scratch, or?
It was actually like, how you have the Google Assistant where someone says, hey, I want to know where is the nearest FM financial office is, and then Alexa will respond kind of like, maybe if you have already set up your location, it will say, hey, the nearest location is here. Would you like to make an appointment to see so-and-so, or if the person says yes, then you kind of go to the next step and kind of like what kind of information, what kind of appointment do you want to make, or that sort of stuff. But if the person says, no, that's good enough, then what would Alexa say next, that sort of thing. So it's been, interesting learning experience.
Cool. All right, we look like we got some people dropping. I'm happy to stay. We're at 7:30, but if people want to stay and just hang out, I'm happy to host. But it looks like we're down to very low double digits.
I'm gonna go pick up the kiddo.
All right, well, have a great night.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. This was lovely.
It's great. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Emmy, you didn't talk about yourself.
What about me? My day job, I work for Thermo Fisher Scientific. So
doing what?
I am a solution owner is officially my title, and I am somewhere between a project manager and a business analyst is kind of the role I'm in. And I work for two programs. I work on the program that does chat for both live chat, and then just this month I picked up chat bots. And then the other program I've worked on since I've been there, which has been 3 years, is antibodies. So needless to say, we've been pretty busy in the antibodies world in the last year and a half. And at Thermo Fisher Scientific, we've been super busy. Like, we actually make the COVID test kits and things like that. And we ramped up to actually make COVID test kits here in Austin from nothing to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in about 10 days last year.
Wow.
And it was literally, they did not have bodies to be able to do things. So they were asking us employees in other departments if we wanted to go volunteer to like do packaging and shipping and that kind of stuff, because they just needed bodies to be able to do that. And then they put all the qualified people in the stuff that needed the science. And they're like, if you can stuff a box, you can.
No degree required.
Right, just come volunteer. They literally had a sign up sheet. Come in between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. or whatever. You can stuff a box. And yeah,
wow.
they literally 24 hours a day. And they were very generous, and they did give us time off of our day job. So I think the one shift started at like 3 in the afternoon. So if you needed to leave early to go do that, then they were like, okay, go, bye. So they were very, very generous with us. So that's what I do during the day. And like I said, I've just adopted Jill, my little stubborn dog. We've only had her for about 2.5 weeks.
How's she adjusting?
She's doing really well. She's now comfortable enough that she can really start pushing some boundaries.
Gate here, but if I nudge it, I wonder what will happen.
She's like, yeah. So she's definitely starting to push some boundaries, and she's got some bulldog in her. You can see it from her markings and things like that she's got some bulldog in her. She's definitely got the bulldog stubbornness. My husband took her for a walk tonight as the event was starting, and I was like, how was she when you guys were in breakout rooms? And he's like, well, she was pretty good until I decided not to go the way she wanted, and then she just laid down and wouldn't move.
Sounds like the dog I used to have.
So she tried to do that with me this morning, but it was just right in front of the house. I just literally picked her up and drug her inside. I was like, we're not going any further then. So what about you? What is your current day job?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. ENTREPRENEUR.
I always get the vowels all backwards in the middle.
Yeah, it's a fun word, that's for sure.
I will not be winning any spelling bees, I promise you.
So yeah, so I've had my own company, Boaz Enterprises, since the year 2000. So yeah, it's been, wow. But certainly, I took a deep dive in tech, doing low temperature physics research and satellite engineering and working at NASA and DirecTV spacecraft, all that kind of stuff, so certainly, put my time in, as I say, my 10,000 plus hours. But like I kind of mentioned, maybe it was one of the breakout rooms that I realized that it's the people that aren't getting, how can we say, I don't want to say fixed. But, whenever there's something wrong with the tech, there is no question they're going to fund it like they want to change, all this stuff. But it was just the human resource part of it it wasn't as valued as much. And so me being a technologist, scientist, et cetera, I found a way. I found that people have told me that I can take really difficult concepts and make them simple so that people can hear what you're saying instead of just tuning out, being like, okay, right, whatever. you know, yttrium, barium, copper oxide, thin films. What? So no, don't say that. I've done that. I've done that research, but you don't say that. You just say low temperature physics, doing research in cold temperatures. Boom. That's all they need to know.
And they don't even know what cold is. Cold can be 300 degrees, but they don't need to know that, right?
Hey, but people know about cryogenics now and cosmetic issues, you know, so I find relatable things that they can relate to. And so it just has evolved. You know, actually my background is like none other. So I was looking forward to sharing and switching careers. But Anita, I guess she wanted to share about her experience, but I certainly have done that. I mean, I have an entertainment company. I've helped create a category. Yeah, you know, so all these cool things, you know, helping to create a category for the Grammy organization, working in red carpet events, huge major productions in Hollywood, you know, just on and on and on. But the beautiful thing about being able to make those kind of shifts, if you will, is communication. You know, that's just been the basics of my entire career. And so it's been awesome to be able to be a communicator, you know, especially when some of us eggheads, myself included, you know, we don't have that as a good reputation. You know, we're not known for being good communicators.
And I think a lot of people lean into that, right? They think I'm this hard skill thing. I don't have to be a good communicator. And they just use it as a crutch to be a jerk, right?
Yeah. Right. You're right. And then I don't know, I mean, I'm not trying to sound elitist or anything, but do you have like an engineering or some kind of degree?
No, I'm married to an engineer. My husband and I started dating my freshman year of college. He's a computer and software engineer. So I've been around it for the last 30 years.
Well, I'm just going to let you in on a secret. So there was no shame or anything like that. But what happens is usually those of us who do have those degrees, we have this code that we're not going to share with you, but it's the culture of our education is that we look down on people who don't have our degree.
Oh yeah, so, that is very apparent in the world that I work in. You know what is weird though is now that I'm working for a biotech company, the biotech scientists don't seem to have that same thing. At least I don't work in that world. So maybe if I tried to go into the biosciences thing, they would kind of have that. But even with my business stakeholders, they don't look down on me because I don't know their antibody science, right? But they know I have a role to play. But my engineering counterparts definitely think that I'm different because I don't know how to program.
Yeah, and it's not true. You know, we're all human beings, but that's just the culture of the education and environment.
But they can't communicate the way I can, right? They can't facilitate. They can't do the things that I do. And in fact, I was in a meeting today and I'm like, why can't this team tell that team what they're doing? We're in a meeting that is the purpose of what we're doing. And it's like everybody's talking, but nobody's listening. And so I was talking to another person who's a QA advisor, and I'm like, is it just me, or does it seem like communication's not really taking place? Like people are saying things and people are writing things down, but the message is not being received. Like it's being sent, but it's not being received. And I don't know where the breakdown is at the moment. So that's going to be like my next big puzzle. And this isn't even my job. That's not my job to solve that, but it's going to make my life better. So I'm going to go help solve that problem. So
everybody brings value, you know, and that's that for whatever reason, you know, that's the way that they were just trained. Even when I talk about unconscious bias, and they're not going to tell you that we look down on you because you're not a XYZ, but that's just the culture. And so, you know, a lot of people don't even realize that that's what they're doing until, you know, they go through a training or they see themselves and they're like, oh my God, it is true. It is me. So yeah, you know, it happens. And so I'm grateful that that they'll listen to me. And maybe it's because they see me as one of them. I don't know, but I'm able to make breakthroughs, you know, with those kind of hard to reach type of individuals, you know, for them to hear me. Now they may not agree, not saying they have to, but just to be heard is the first step in changing, you know. But if you're always getting ignored or, you know, what's the word? It's some word that means not taken seriously, you know, it's like, whatever, you know, right. And that's not really helping either. So go ahead.
So what's your story from how did you go from low temperature physics to unconscious bias? That's gotta be an interesting journey.
It is very interesting. And so the short version is that I got tired of always being in the lab and working with a bunch of guys, you know, who had some of them had personality. But just kind of like what you're sharing in your example, as far as like working at 3 in the morning or just, you know, around the clock. So when I was doing a lot of satellite stuff, that's what was happening. The spacecraft had to be ready for launch, no matter whose birthday it was. You know, it was this thing of just 12-hour days, or not longer, 12-hour nights, if not longer, you know. So I'm like, I don't like living this kind of life. So it's a long story, but flash forward, you know, I changed careers. I went into doing sales, and I've got a background in the arts as well as science. So I'm classically trained in piano, classically trained in voice. Done a lot of acting, tons of public speaking, growing up very comfortable sharing, you know, in front of an audience. And so those skills, you know, they all came together to help me to be able to be a great communicator. And so that's what people needed. They needed help getting the word out about what they were doing, what their interests were. So I started doing public relations, marketing, all these really neat things. And you're like, wait a minute, you were just doing what, like not too long ago? What? But that's how it just kind of happened. You know, people had a need and I was able to fill it. And as my clients had more needs, and I'm like, ooh, let me go learn that as an entrepreneur. Time to go learn new skills. They're using the word pivot now to stay relevant. And that's what I did. And so as their companies grew, then I needed to learn more skills to continue to get paid. And I kept learning and learning and learning. So one of those things that I learned was the unconscious bias training. But then as I was learning it, I'm like, hey, I got a lot of experience with this. You know, I've got a lot of best practices and things that I've had to overcome in order to, you know, really to be able to make it, just frankly speaking, in a white man's world. So not saying that I'm like 100% there, but I had to learn a whole lot, you know, in order, especially in technology, like I told you, where that you know, the arrogance, that subtle arrogance culture or whatever you want to call it is there too. So it's been an interesting ride. Lots of fun, lots of challenges. Everything hasn't been a rosy experience. You know, certainly, you know, just to be transparent some more, living in Austin has not been the most inclusive place I've ever lived. Experienced racism, racism and sexism here more than I've ever had of all the places I've lived in my life. And it's been a different kind of experience. So, but having said all that, that's how I ended up doing unconscious bias training.
Yeah, Austin has, I moved here in '99 and we've lost several percentage points of our population. One, just because we've had so much growth. I mean, that's part of it, right? We've had so many white and other ethnic groups move in that they've kind of lost that. But we've also had a lot of flight, a lot of Black flight. And a lot of it is because of the gentrification of East Austin. When I moved here in '99, East Austin was considered very ethnic.
Oh, yeah, that's by design. In 1928, all minorities, African Americans, Hispanics had to move east of what is now I-35. So that's very intentional.
Yeah, absolutely. But then the 21st century came along and it was like, well, we want to expand downtown. Mm-hmm. And Mayor Will Wynn really pushed a lot of that because he wanted urban density. And so he really pushed a lot of the gentrification in the mid-aughts. And like you go to East Austin now and it's not even the same that when I moved here. Mm-hmm. And it's just sad to see so many families being pushed out of their homes and things like that. So the LBJ school, and I'm forgetting the other sponsor it last year. Leslie Wingo was one of the hosts of it, did the Path to Racial Equity. It was a 6-week series that Diane Kenyon, one of the women who is in our advisory board and speak like that, she told us about that. So both Heather and I did that. It's very eye-opening to me. And so I've been very much more conscious this year about where do I spend my money. I tried to find a Black plumber this week and I cannot find a Black plumber at all. Because I have 3 plumbing issues. And I was like, because if you have to put your money where your mouth is, you can't just say, I support this group if you're not investing in that group. And it was just very eye-opening to me because again, I had a lot of growing up white in America and I grew up in rural Missouri. So it was all white. Mm. There were just things that don't occur to you if you don't experience, right? So but you have to be receptive to listening and learning and then taking action on what you've learned. So that's been one of the big things for this year. So, mm-hmm. So I'm Well, I'm very interested, and I'd love to have you talk on this topic, because I think it's something that all groups can learn from.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and I'd use a broad approach. I just don't focus on one group. You know, and I think that's why, frankly speaking, white males, you know, love my training and the way my approach is. I just don't teach on unconscious bias. I teach on several topics, but that's my calling card. And so I think that, you know, the men who are, you know, the top of the food chain, how they can hear me and want to hear more is because I make it in a way where they're not being attacked, I guess. You know, everybody has issues that we're working on now. I will use them in examples of how people can do better in society. But for some reason, again, like we talked about earlier, you know, as far as being able to, you know, take those hard topics and make them feel more palatable, if you will. So it's a gift I have that I can reach people that sometimes folks can't reach.
That's great. And that's a skill that the diversity of your backgrounds has really gifted you with.
Thank you. And I put in the chat an African-American newspaper. It's been around since the 70s.
Okay.
It's called The Villager. You might hear it as The Villager or the Austin Villager. Okay. They are on Facebook, and they also print out their copies of their paper. It's a weekly, and it comes out every Thursday. So in the event that you are looking for African-American vendors, contractors, etc., that might be a good place to look in the ads, and then maybe even just picking up the phone and calling the publisher. His name is Tommy Wyatt. Very nice guy, wonderful man. And as a matter of fact, if you all think about expanding your base of membership, maybe take out an ad there. You know, if you want to be a bit more inclusive and diverse as far as reaching across the virtual aisle that we're in, just to raise awareness as far as what you're doing. Yeah. You know, some people may not be aware of, you know, what the work that you're doing and how many years, et cetera, because there's this, I call Austin as connected, but it's disconnected. You know, there's like all these disconnects, but then it's just like, wow, how are we functioning as a city with all these disconnections, but somehow it works.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're adding to the board, especially in light of all the events that took place last summer, was, okay, we need to connect to other groups more. So we came up with the idea of a liaison chair, and that's a person that is a volunteer for us that goes to other women's groups. And says, hey, come connect with AWT. This is what we do. This is our message. And we came up with the idea with an ally chair, which is a person that's going to go to the other tech groups, regardless of gender, and say, hey, we're AWT. Come check us out. Come learn. And so then we had a speaker in March, I believe, Ty Dotson, and she works for Apex Systems. She's like their national DEIB coordinator. She has agreed to join our board as our DEI director. And so those two chairs will be under her so that we can expand those things. Because I do think that we have a more diverse membership than I think the city is in general. But as far as I'm concerned, that's not good enough. Like, we need to actively go after all groups, whether it's skin color, sexual orientation, career path, religion. Like, we need to, if we want to be an inclusive organization and we want to live in an inclusive city, we're in a position where, I mean, we're not a large group, we're 400 people, but you got to start somewhere. So let's start with our 400 people. So.
And good for you, you know, for wanting to do that. And some folks, you know, they were, you know, very much interested in being an ally last summer, but then the shine is kind of worn off, or it's probably not the right way to say it, but maybe the motivation and the interest is not as strong because people have now moved on to the next, whatever that thing is, you know. So I think it's that says a lot about you all, you know, wanting to actually have board leadership involved, you know. So when you do that, then that makes it stick and stay a little bit longer.
Yep. And then you know Joy, and she's our sponsorship director. She's not even our DEI director. So we have two people on our board now with a DEI lens looking at things. And I think we couldn't be better served.
She reached out to me on LinkedIn. So today was literally our first time meeting. We had a meet and greet on Zoom. And I was like, and so she says, oh, you keep talking about technology. Why don't you come to our event tonight? And I'm like, my calendar's open. Let's go.
I didn't know that. I thought you guys had networked before. I didn't realize.
No, today literally is our first time ever talking ever today.
Oh, well, that's awesome. She's great. She's relatively new to Austin, but she's been great. She jumped in for us. Our previous sponsorship director really wasn't picking up the ball, and she was an active volunteer. So she's really picked up the ball for us and has really helped us out and really helped fill us out our calendar with sponsorship. So, you know, she's just been fantastic. So I hope you get to join us next September, or next September, like it's a year away, next month in September for the World of Entrepreneurship. It sounds like you might have some feedback to give yourself, given your.
Well, I was when you all were talking about it today, I was thinking, ooh, I could have given that talk too, but I don't want to have any spoilers for the next speaker.
Yeah, he comes from an education background. So he apparently was like a high school teacher and then started like this side business for education. And now he does a lot of corporate training and teaching people how to like run their businesses and things like that. So, you know, our prep meetings with him were pretty great. So I'm very excited about that because I think that's one of the things as an organization, we do a lot of who's looking, who's hiring and things like that.
I like that.
And we've been doing that for several years now. But one of the things I think that we're still not great at is helping people build their own business.
Build a what?
Build their own business.
Mm.
So like, I can help you hire somebody, but how do I help you find customers? How do I become your customer? I don't think we're not quite there yet we filled that gap yet, but we're working on it.
Well, you know, maybe there's a way that you can even how you frame the email that you're sending from the chat today. Maybe you could, you know, kind of highlight, you know, yes, it's like the jobs column and maybe the contracts column or the independently owned column, or, you know, let's not recycle dollars, but let's invest in this column, you know, so those of us who are in ER, pardon?
I said, that's a great point.
So maybe those, thank you, those who are in ERGs and have budgets, you know, because me as an entrepreneur, I can only do so many, you know, like volunteer ones, because this is what I do for a living. So it makes it difficult, you know, for me to say yes, a slow yes to so many, you know, unpaid opportunities. But I would love to, you know, of course, to be involved. However, the ERGs and, you know, sponsors, they can come in and they can, you know, create those opportunities for those of us who are in business. And I think, Emmy, that sometimes Austin is so focused on the startups that they forget that once you have started up, you need to sustain. And sustainability doesn't come with people just giving you money. It comes with contracts and it comes with repeatable business that is multi-year and in some instances, multi-million dollars. You know, so this whole thing of starting up, good for you. But if you started up 6 businesses in 3 years, you really haven't had a business. It takes about 7 years to really get it going. And after 21 years, you know, I'm speaking with a lot of authority here. You know, I know so many people who have started, I'm like, good for you, but that is not business. It's starting up. It is just getting funding and spending somebody else's money while you do whatever you want to do. You may not have a good business model. You may not even be making any sense, but you're getting paid. Real business starts when you don't know how you're getting paid and you don't know how the people who report to you are getting paid. That's when it really starts. That's when the rubber hits the road, because you got to figure out a way to get some business in the door, to get even the people who owe you money, who make sure they're paying. I mean, so that's, to me, from my perspective as a CEO, that's when you know if you really are in business, not the startup land that Austin loves to talk about.
Yeah, I'm over the whole startup idea. People are like, oh, it's a great startup culture. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want it. Like, I'm too old to think that it's cool to work at 2 a.m. right? Like, that's not fun for me. I want to, you know, and if I wanted to do that, I would start my own company, right? I wouldn't do it for somebody else. I would do it for me. I love your idea of invest though, because I think that is a great way for us to spotlight local businesses. Like you were talking about here from the Village newspaper, like we can reach out to one of those organizations and say, hey, may we sponsor you as an invest, whatever, have them come to our event, tell us what they do and how they do it. They could sell shoes for all I care. It doesn't have to be tech related, but a way that we can grow our community and invest in local businesses in a way that makes sense. So I think that's a great way to frame that. And then also, you know, the same thing, we can have a who's looking, who's hiring, and who's looking for, you know, invest, I think maybe sounds like, hey, I want to give you $10,000 to go build a widget. But hey, maybe if it's a small restaurant and I just need to go buy a burger, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars. So
yeah,
but
so maybe that's
that idea.
Maybe that's the one. It's like, you know, a local business, you know, buy local. Maybe that's the one. You know, anybody has some ideas on buying local? So for the restaurateurs, they seem to get a lot of opportunity. But say, for example, I mean, it's just so I'll just say for myself, you know, say, for example, for my company, you know, you just can't drive in and drive through. You know, I need, you know, clients who have needs and budgets, you know, so I don't know what that kind of column would be. Maybe something like, you know, if you need this type of service at where you work, you know, be on the lookout for this. Or maybe it's, you know, you're the president of an ERG or a board member of an ERG and you've got a budget. So why don't you consider submitting that budget with Boaz Enterprises, which is the name of my company? You know, so I don't know how that could be framed, but I think that would be very helpful for those of us who are in business. Yeah,
that's a great idea. We're, like I said, we're about to have our retreat with the board, and I think we've got the who's looking, who's hiring kind of nailed down. And that is a huge reason why so many people come to our events. But I think we can help build other networks for other people, because if probably half our people knew what you did and that you could help their organization, they'd be raising their hand and saying, oh, Boaz Enterprises can help you with that, right? Like, so we just got to be better at messaging that. So maybe we have and then we've also talked about the idea of a newsletter, but one of the struggles is we're all volunteer run. So finding the people who have the time to do this with their day jobs. And we keep, like people mention Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a huge time commitment. That's its own thing. And so it's like, I don't know that anybody here can take on their AWT role and a Toastmasters role.
And why would you do that? You would partner with them. That's what they do. That's their thing. So maybe it's a partnership. So you know, to advise, I would not advise that at all.
Yeah,
you know, that's their thing.
And that's what we said. I was like, if we have a member who kind of wants to do that and it's an AWT affiliated thing, we're happy to do that. And we're happy to even promote it. But to take that on at a board level, we were like, we've got enough things that
that's not your mission. That's not your mission.
That's not really something that we're looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there are ways to do it, you know, and then just, you know, we're women talking about women's issues. So sometimes the ladies, you know, have a difficult time getting in the door to get to the contracts. You know, sometimes such a like good old boy network of who's going to get the deals. Yeah, maybe that's a topic, you know, how do we help these women businesses grow and thrive? You know, what do they need to do to get the multi-year contracts? And it's one thing for me to do a training, which of course I'm grateful, but how about quarterly training for the next 5 years? Because if we're talking about a change in behavior, you got a new dog, you're trying to get Jill to walk down the street and not, you know, dig her heels in. That's going to take some time, you know, so there's the command. And then there's the reinforcement of what you're commanding for her to do and not to do, you know, So as humans, it's a similar type of thing. You know, if we're so used to doing this and then you want me to do this, you know, just that little switch takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, it's not a one and done training situation for a lot.
Right. So that's why I suggest, you know, quarterly, if not really bi-monthly, you know, every other month type of thing. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into change.
We're required to do annual ethics training, and a friend and I were joking this year when ours came out. It was like, you know, for some of us, annual is good enough, but some people need this monthly. Could we split them up? Like, can we nominate people to get? Some people just need it quarterly, but some people need this every month, right? Because I was like, they do the training and then they're a jerk the next day. So
right, because they know they're just checking a box. They know contractually with EEOC they have to do it. And so when people know that there's not that kind of commitment, then they're just half in and half out, and they're probably not even really checked into the class. You know, so when it's ongoing and they know that they have to say, ooh, Latanya's giving us homework. Oh my God, I have to be accountable. That's a whole nother level of taking something seriously. Now, of course, you know, grateful to do one because I know that I have been told that I'm able to make a great impact, you know, but like you said, the next day, let's talk about the morning after, you know, how are they going to do the next morning after having the training the morning before?
Or the same day, right? I've known people who've like we've had the training and then that afternoon it's like, were you paying attention on this? Like, and it's just like, and I work in IT, and so it's not even all white guys, it's other people too. So
yeah, especially people who are just, we're just being transparent now and sharing at any point. If you want to jump in, I see you're still with us, but sometimes people coming from other cultures, across the oceans and coming here, they come with a certain level of privilege and entitlement, but they don't even realize a part of American history and culture where they should be glad that they're able to come over, especially if they're from non-European countries, because there was a time when that just was not allowed here in the United States. But as a result of the civil rights movement, and frankly, a lot of Native Americans and people of African descent, the things that we've done and fought for specifically, other cultures have too, but it's as a result of, more specifically, the civil rights movement, why other cultures can come to America and get a work visa and make six figures, even though people of my heritage who have come here and were kidnapped rather and brought here, worked for free, built the country, and we're still statistically not making as much money as those who could come over and with a work visa. And because they don't know that part of history, they come here and then they look down on my heritage and my culture, thinking something is wrong with us because they have had it really a silver platter treatment compared to
the
what
privilege that they get, they don't understand.
Precisely. And then they think something's wrong with everybody else because they've had it so easy.
But they also don't realize, one, during the time that your people were enslaved, they weren't allowed. But if they had been allowed, they would have been enslaved too, right? Because we used skin color as a way to determine a right of privilege. And I work with people from South Asia who are very dark. And so it's like, no, they wouldn't have cared. If you were in Alabama, they wouldn't have cared, right?
You're probably right. And they wouldn't even care what their accent was at that point, probably.
Nope, they don't care. They cared that they got free labor, right? Yeah. That's what they cared about, right? They cared about that they had an economic system set up specifically to give them an advantage because they didn't have to pay.
And it's still like that today, even though we're getting paid as a people, if you look at the data, our numbers are just terrible, as there's no comparison. African-American women make at least 38% less than a white male. So if you take that over a 30-year period, that's a lot of money that's just not in that community. And that doesn't even include what the white male inherited for generations and generations. So he's already starting with probably a whole, arsenal full of wealth compared to, African-American women. We're talking about women today, who are just trying to make it 38% behind with nothing to really start with to add to.
And the deck stacked against them on top of that. Right?
Lots and lots of systems of racism and equity, for sure.
Absolutely. And the fact that so many people can't see that, and they don't want to they don't even want to give up the mindset that can't be true. Right? That they can't even, that cost them nothing. And they can't even give up that mindset. Well, I would love to keep talking with you, but my low battery light has come on and it's about to cut me off anyway.
Let's connect on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sharon. I don't know if you're still there.
But yes, it was, I don't know, Sharon would normally pipe in if Sharon were still on. So
okay. Well, let me just put my email in real quick. So that way.
Awesome. Perfect.
You said you don't remember your LinkedIn password. So let me.
It's on my computer upstairs. It's just not on my personal computer. So
okay.
I will go put that in here. But
right? Yeah, that's my email in case you want it. And really, it's faster to reach me that way.
Oh, there's Sharon.
Sorry about that. Had a work thing that popped up.
Well, we've had a great time just chatting away. But my battery's about to die.
So okay, Tanya. So we'll definitely keep in touch, and I'm really excited to hear about your book. That's just awesome.
Oh, thank you. It's been great. Thanks for having me. I'm a visitor. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Jill.